ions, and electromagnetic fields. During the last half of the 20th century, scientists have been investigating pranic phenomena and finally they seem to have come up with a flexible explanation. Just as yoga talks about the universal prana which permeates the entire creation, modern scientists have discovered the same presence of electromagnetic energy. Investigations show that the atmosphere is charged with electromagnetic energy, which is vital to the preservation of life. Yoga states that where there is a life, there is prana. And what science have found is that wherever there is life, there are electrical properties. In yogic text, prana is equated with lightning, thus implying that its properties have some similarity to electrical energy. Prana is also described as being magnetic acid as positive and negative aspects. Therefore, in order to understand the basics of Swara Yoga, it is useful to discuss a little about the nature of electromagnetic fields. A living magnet. Scientific investigations have brought modern science and man closer to yoga. Swara Yoga talks of the positive and negative energy currents that are flowing in the body, and science have proven the existence of these flows, which are furthermore influenced by the ions and the electromagnetic field in the atmosphere. The electromagnetic energy which surrounds the earth makes it appear to be a gigantic magnet, the north pole being positive and the south pole negative. Each pole attracts opposite and repels like electromagnetic particles, thus creating energy currents around the terrestrial plane. The particular movements of these electromagnetic currents affect the energy balance in every form of life. Furthermore, the cycle of these currents gently affect our entire being, and the particular nature of the charged particles influence the different mental and physical processes. Swara Yoga explains this a little more deeply. Here, the body is considered as a living magnet. The head is the positive pole and the feet are the negative pole. To be more precise, we can say that energy currents circulate specifically in the region of the spinal column, the base of the spine being the negative pole and the top the positive. This magnetic field creates a constant flow of energies between the two poles in an attempt to equalize the energy currents. In fact, many people even say that you should not sleep with the head towards the west because the circulation of energy must flow with the earth's energy field. Though the external influence of energy and prana affects the internal structure, the practices of Swara Yoga regulate the inner pranic mechanisms, enabling them to function harmoniously irrespective to the outer condition. Today, science is proving this in experiments to control the bioelectromagnetic fields. Science is only now beginning to view the human organism in the light of a living transmitter of energy. The brain and the central nervous system in particular have been seen to act as transmitters and receptors of electromagnetic waves, receiving external information and sending internal information back into the cosmos. Just the simple process of heartbeat sends out a wave of 1 to 3 cycles per second. So, you can imagine how much subtle transfer of energy is going on constantly between you and the cosmos. Therefore, it is of great importance to maintain harmony and equilibrium in our inner and outer environment. The sadhaka practices not only for himself but in order to raise the energy throughout the atmosphere. Investigating the energy field. When researchers examined the nature and flow of electromagnetic fields, they found they were made up of positively and negatively charged particles called ions. When they are so microscopic, they can interpenetrate the earth, air, and everything. The positive or negative charge of ions in the body has also been seen to influence specific physical and mental functions. Therefore, if you can control these energies, you can control the body and mind. A predominance of negative ions has been observed to have a stimulating and vitalizing effect on the body, whereas a predominance of positive ions depresses the system. For example, when people are exposed to an excess of positive ions, they become lethargic, and if there is constant stimulus, then irritation, headaches, and respiratory defects can also develop. When negative ions are again increased, the whole system is revitalized and reactivated. It has been found that the ionic charges are essential to the atmosphere and to life. If they are absent, not one creature will survive. The presence of positive and negative ions in the system ultimately affects the entire body mechanism. They influence the nervous system, rate of respiration, digestion, and regulation of the endocrine system, which in turn influences the way we think and respond to certain situations in life. Therefore, the absorption of positive and negative ions in the air we breathe is an important function of the respiratory system. So, Swara Yoga regards breathing as an electrifying experience. In search of negative ions and prana. When you leave the city and all its industrial complexes and go to a hill station, forest, seaside, or river, you always feel invigorated. This is due to the natural abundance of negative ions that cluster in the atmosphere of such regions. When we say breath of fresh air, what we really mean is breath of negative ions. Fresh air in the city may contain an abundance of positive ions. So, even a breath of fresh air, they won't make you feel refreshed. Modern technology is recklessly destroying the natural balance of ions in the atmosphere, especially in more populated areas. Deficiency of negative ions is a major contributing factor to the rise of physical and mental depression people they are suffering today. When the mind and body are depressed, how can you expect to live or think correctly? Therefore, in Swara Yoga or any yoga, the sadhaka is advised to breathe fresh air and live in a simple environment in order to come closer to the self.